delightful creature here is the common toad, a resident of the UK. We're really lucky to have them. Wonderful, beautiful animals. Of course, not everybody thinks so, but then not everybody gets to look at a toad this close up and really admire its beauty. Quite cryptic camouflage coloration, browns and greens, mottled, spotted, just to blend in with the soil type they live on. Now, most of the year the toad, unlike the frog, and we're talking British frogs and toads here, the toad spends most of its time on land, usually well away from water. The best place to find them would be waste ground, woodlands, their natural habitat, and even gardens, especially gardens a little bit overgrown, or an overgrown corner here and there. And by day, lifting up rocks, pieces of wood will often reveal a toad hiding underneath.
Looking for animals in the wild can be really fun, but always remember that any rocks or logs that you move is the home of an animal. So always remember to put them back where you found them.
By night they'll venture out from their homes and they'll be on the prowl. These are predators and they'll hunt for invertebrate animals, all kinds of things, from worms, woodlice. It really is whatever they can cram into their huge, wide, toad-like mouth. For all their drab coloration, very camouflaged, very cryptic, they have the most beautiful clear eyes and their eyesight is exceptionally good.
Like many predators, the common toad uses eyesight to try and find their food. Behind those eyes are a set of parotoid glands, poison factories to put predators off eating them.
And if their camouflage doesn't do its job and an animal does try and eat these, a predator does try and take and eat the toad, that poison will be secreted from the glands and from pores or warts over their skin. Makes these very toxic and taste absolutely foul. Most things will soon spit out a toad. However, they do have one quite serious natural enemy that's completely immune to the toxic poison, and that's the grass snake. They have a very different way to combat the grass snake. They will puff up like a pufferfish, really big, and they'll stand as tall as they can on their legs and make themselves look much bigger than they really are. And they're relying on that fact that the snake, like all snakes, has to swallow its food whole. So that snake that thought it had spotted a nice bite-sized toad is suddenly confronted with a toad 3 or 4 times the size, and the toad is relying on that snake passing it by, realising it can't possibly swallow it whole, and leaving it alone.
For most of the year, the common toad will stay well away from water, but they do need to be around it to breed. The males will croak to try and find a mate, and the female will lay eggs into the water, which will hatch into tadpoles, just like with the frog.
We're very lucky to have common toads here in the UK, but they range all across Europe. The difference is, some of those animals live in Spain and Greece. They grow huge, the same species, but it grows much bigger than this specimen here. We have long cold winters when the toads are quite inactive and there's very little food around. Of course, in hotter climates, creepy crawlies abound and they're there for a much greater part of the year. And to see a common toad as big as your hand is a fantastic sight. They do grow really huge.
There was so much to say about the common toad that we couldn't fit it all into this video, but we will probably revisit them in the future. So if you want to know more, make sure you subscribe.